Way back in April of 2025, I made a post about Canadian members of parliament who had run for the election on the votepalestine.ca platform. I told you that of these Palestine-affiliated politicians, 18 Liberals, 5 NDP, and Elizabeth May had won seats. That equaled 7% of all seats. Among the reasons I took issue with this platform is that it used the red triangle which Hamas used to mark Israeli targets. I also fundamentally disagreed with what they stood for. Tuesday, 6 of these Canadian members of parliament were denied entry to Israel, 5 Liberals and 1 NDP. The NDP was Jenny Kwan, and the Liberals are Iqra Khalid, Samir Zuberi, Farez Al-Soud, Aslam Rana, and Gurbak Saini. They were part of a Canadian delegation attempting to enter the West Bank. The members of parliament, our news, and Anita Anand are all reporting this as shocking, yet I'm not shocked at all. All 6 publicly endorsed Vote Palestine during the federal election that campaigned and pressured candidates to commit to policies such as sanctions on Israel and arms embargoes. Worse still is the Canadian news is not reporting why they were banned from Israel, which is because a terror organization funded their trip. The trip was organized and funded by the Canadian Muslim Vote. That organization has publicly acknowledged that most of its funding comes from Islamic Relief Canada. Islamic Relief Canada is tied to Islamic Relief Worldwide, its parent entity. The 2025 ISGAP report, We Stand on Guard for Thee, identifies Islamic Relief Canada as one of several Muslim Brotherhood-affiliated organizations in Canada. I read that entire report. I knew Islamic Relief Canada has ties to Islamic Relief Worldwide, which has ties to terror. If I knew that, then our journalists should know it. And if our journalists know it, Anita Anand should know it. The report says that IRW has been linked to Hamas and points to actions by U.S. law enforcement and global banks as indicators of concern, including reported involvement by the FBI and IRS and the closure of IRW accounts by HSBC and UBS amid terrorism financing concerns, even as IRW denies these political ties. Islamic Relief Canada is part of the Islamic Relief Worldwide. Israel has designated Islamic Relief Worldwide as having links to Hamas, which Israel classifies as a terrorist organization. So has Saudi Arabia, by the way. Because of that designation, Israel considers groups funded by or affiliated with Islamic Relief Worldwide to be security risks. Islamic Relief disputes Israel's allegations, but Israel maintains its designation and enforces it at its borders. So the MPs that attempted to enter via Jordan's Allenby Bridge, the mainland crossing into the West Bank, which is often used by delegations visiting Palestinian-controlled areas, were stopped by Israeli authorities who have the full authority to deny that entry. In summary, these 6 Canadian MPs endorsed Vote Palestine, traveled on a trip funded by a group backed by Islamic Relief, and were denied entry by Israel due to terror designation concerns. That's what we should be hearing on the news.